bridging the Indian and Pacific Oceans, the 17,000 exotic islands of Indonesia. And the gateway to the world's largest archipelago, the bustling city of Jakarta, which hosts the co-sanctioned Standard Charter Indonesian Open for the first time in 2005. It's the warmest of Southeast Asian welcomes for the likes of Paul McGinley, hoping to go one better after losing out last week to Casey in China. Thailand's Thongchai JD, who recently retained his Carlsberg Malaysian title. And 2003 Caltex Masters champion Zhang Liangwei from China. Talking of Masters, the toughened par 70 Cengkareng course this week offers one man a possible Augusta lifeline. World number 54, Colin Montgomerie. He knows he has a job to do in Jakarta.
7 top 10s in a row is good in anyone's book, and I've got to make it 8. In fact, I've got to get a win. I think I've got to finish in the top 2 or 3 to get from 54th to 50th in the world. So the next couple of weeks I go off to Augusta, and I haven't missed Augusta for about 14 years. And you know, I'd like to obviously try and play there again, because it's just not playing in Augusta, it's actually competing in Augusta, and big difference. And I feel that I would go this year on the back of 8 top 10s, obviously it would be, playing well and having an opportunity.
Colin's last win came on tour in Singapore at the 2004 Caltex Masters, and for him a victory this week would be just the ticket.
I'm trying my best to get into the top 50, that's all I can do. And if I end up 51st, well, who knows, right? They might be kind. Otherwise, if I'm not in the top 50, I know the consequences, and generally you don't play. I feel comfortable out here. I don't know why it should be, but I just am. Okay, I'm always sort of tends to be one of the favourites going into these events and tends to justify it.
Mathematically, Thongchai JD cannot make the world top 50 in time, but a second win of the season here may just get him an invite to Georgia.
I have to try for this week, you know. I'm feeling very good. I have to win for this week also. We have the exam to the master for this week.
The 6,800-yard Cengkareng layout lies just a mile or so from Jakarta's international airport. But to global high flyers like Monty, it's no problem.
Singapore was on the runway. This is further away. We don't see him as much as we do Singapore. They used to come over right over the course, but this is okay. It's a quieter airport as well, Jakarta, than Singapore. Singapore's one of the busiest airports in the world.
Opened in 1999, this attractive resort course, designed by Walter Riley Stewart, features sloping Bermuda greens, gently contoured fairways, and water hazards of more than one kind. It may be 90 degrees, but here in the tropics, they also have their share of the wet stuff.
The biggest problem here is the weather. I mean, it's a very thundery area, and we've been having thunderstorms every afternoon. So I expect probably some suspensions of play, probably not finishing the rounds in the afternoon, having to finish the round the following morning.
Indeed, rain did call an early halt to play on day 3, and one of the players who completed round 3 on day 4 was Colin Montgomerie, a 66. After opening rounds of 67 and 69 saw him on -8, well back in the pack. Another good week in prospect for Frenchman Raphael Jacquelin, 67, sandwiched by a pair of superb 64s. He's in familiar territory, lying second on 15 under. 3 ahead of Belgian Nicolas Colsaerts. A sizzling 62 on day 2 helped him try to regain his tour card, but then he slipped to a 71 and down to 8th place on -12. 2 opening 65s, then 66 from Singapore's Marden Mamat. He's well placed going to round 4. And John Hawksworth, what about his Asian Tour colleague, JD?
Well, JD with a birdie putt here at the 4th on day 1, en route to a fine opening 66. Can he make the Masters? Here he is with his 3rd shot at the 10th in day 3. And with rounds of, well, 66, 66, 65, 13 under. Could it be his week? Now Frankie Minoza, 45-year-old, Philippines #1. Shot at the 9th, day 3. Playing very well in his latter years. His birdie putt at the 10th here on day 3. And with rounds of 67, 67, 62, well, could it be his third title?
But the man with the most impressive start this week, a pair of 63s, including this stunner at his closing hole on day one, was Jaide's compatriot, 36-year-old Taiwan Wirachant. Flawless approach play from the 36-year-old was matched by a superb putting display, which saw him take the lead at halfway on 14 under par. With 27 holes to play on his final day, his powers of recovery were tested early on. This, a birdie chip in at the 10th. And his trusty blade remained as hot as the midday sun. A third round 66 kept Wirachant at the top of affairs with 18 holes to play. Jacqueline is poised for that elusive first win on tour, a truly international look to this leaderboard with players from 8 nations in the top 10. So let's catch up with the final round action. John.
Now then, JD on the 11th here. This birdie putt. Birdied the 6th earlier on, but unfortunately bogeyed the first. It takes him to 15 under. Frankie Minoza. Birdie putt here on the 14th and move to 17 under. Great playing.
The approach at the 6th from Martin Mamat. He birdied the 1st, 3rd and 5th. Sadly a bogey at the 4th. And Mamat is 17 under par. Very much in this.
Jacqueline, 3 times runner. Birdied the 2nd, this another at the 4th. He moves to 17 under.
Second shot at the 9th for the Frenchman. Things are really hotting up. Nice and close. He would birdie that one and go to 19 under par. Could it be Jacqueline's day? 3 straight pars to start the day. His big day for Wirachant. His tee shot at the 4th. And that would create his first birdie. He's off and running at the shortest hole on the course, up to 19 under par. The very next hole, the 5th, his approach shot. Very good stuff indeed. And another birdie follows, up to 20 under par. Still nip and tuck at the top as the tie regains a slender one-shot advantage. But just look at Colin Montgomerie there. 5 birdies in a row to get to 14 under. Surely it's too late for him.
The Frenchman Jacqueline with his tee shot. Short par 4, 324 yards this 11th. Some of the guys have been having a go at that, and that's not too bad. Chipping straight up the green.
The 9th hole, 524 yards, just missing the putting surface with his long second shot. So Wirachant a chance to perhaps chip in again. Oh, incredible stuff. This really is a short game wizard, and surely he will go to 21 under par. He's not wilting.
No, this is a tough par 3, 245 yards. First one on the back 9. I wonder if he's thinking about the Masters. Good rhythm from JD. And that's well found. Just shows how far the ball goes out here. Using an iron, 245 yards.
Awkward little chip here for Martin Mamat at the 9th. No real form coming into this tournament. Mamat 13th in the Myanmar Open, his best performance of the season so far. But he'll feel very much on home ground here in Asia.
Raphael Jacqueline, relative straightforward second shot here on the 11th. I mentioned before he's had 3 runner-up spots. He actually had 7 top 10s last year. Wonderful, wonderful touch there. But yet to win.
Here's a man who knows that winning feeling. Twice already in the same tournament, the Malaysian Open champion Thongchai JD. Long range attempt to try and get to 16 under par. Try and make some sort of late charge here. Very grainy Bermuda greens, tough to read.
The big hitting Mamat. Birdie putt here on the 9th. Only 2 par 5s on this golf course. Very well holed.
Excellent front 9, 36, and no par 5s noted on the back 9 here. This toughened up golf course. Not tough enough to stop Jacquelin getting to 20 under par, staying very much on the heels of the leader Wirachant.
Needs to hold this to keep his Masters dream alive, which he does. Sunshine DAD.
Slightly unusual putting style from Wirachant, almost cuts across the ball. Square to open. I think I'll try it. 21 under par. 3 under par for this final round. So the unorthodox swing still holding up. The putter still working, but will Taiwan Wirachant's nerves survive as his pressure buttons are pushed in the most important 9 holes of his life? Join us again in Jakarta to find out after these. Welcome back to Jakarta, where the expectant crowds and rain clouds are gathering for the finale. And John, we hear Monty's kicking up a storm on his back 9.
He sure is. As he reaches the par 5, he's already had 7 birdies on the run. That was for eagle, and this is for 8. And you can't say the guy never tries. Desperately trying to get into the Masters, putting together a fantastic round.
The 10th hole for the leader Wirachant. 402-yard par 4. Superb approach. He's not going away. Wirachant playing a couple of holes behind his nearest challenger Jacquelin, stretches to 2 in front. Montgomerie incredibly up to a share of 3rd place. 9 under for his final round, and the short par 4 7th to come.
Wirachant, not one of the longest hitters out here. Many of these guys can reach this par 4 with the driver. I don't think he can. And that is not ideal on a downslope. Hole located only some 7 paces on the green, a tree to go over. So, problems.
The last par 3 on the course. And the last par 3 this week for 45-year-old Filipino Frankie Minoza. 17 under par. His challenge for the title may be gone, but it's a very good week's work indeed. And that's okay.
Mamat reminds me a little bit of the Argentinians. Very long, very strong player. He can fly it all the way. Oh, that's unlucky. Just caught the front bunker, but it should be a fairly easy up and down from there.
Well, here he is, Monty, at the 7th, his 16th hole, remember, starting the day at the 10th. He has shot 61 in his career, back in 1996 in Cran-sur-Sierre. Preferred lies this week, remember. So if he does shoot 60 or even the magical 59, it won't count on the records books, but Monty will remember it for a long time. What a great chance there, John.
Absolutely. Nice to see. Now then, lying the club face open here. Wirachant trying to hit it up over the tree, I would imagine. Oh dear, that looks a bit chunky. Oh, he skipped through. Well, that's a break. If you're going to win, you need little rubs like that.
You certainly do. A birdie putt left for him then. Rafael Jacquelin, 3 times he's been runner-up on tour, and looks like he's going to fulfill that role again unless something happens for him. He's leaving the ball too far away from the hole here at the 12th to realistically go for his birdie.
Awkward lie for Mamat. The second shot. Played that pretty well. The ball may have been buried there because no spin out of the bunker. He'll have that left for his birdie.
Rafael Jacquelin made his par at the 12th, so he remains at 20 under par. 2 shots behind Wirachant, up ahead at 17. is for Frankie to try and get to 18 under par. A little tight in the wrist late on in the tournament. Big money on offer for some of these Asian Tour players, where the prize money is a little less than on the European Tour as a norm.
Wirashant straight up the hill. This would be a 3 if he could hold this. Should really have been in the bunker. And looks good. Wow. Well done. It's his week, Kim. Or it certainly looks like it at the moment.
3 birdies in a row. Very strong stuff from the 36-year-old Thai player Wirachant. 23 under. Come on, Monty. This for 9 birdies in a row.
He's got a par 5 to come as well. Oh, fantastic.
Started the day, remember, at 8 under par in 30th place. Amazing stuff. Monty in the top 3. Looks like a Manchester United team shirt, doesn't it?
Well, I'm excited here. I'd love to see 59. Now my mat down the hill. Quick putt just to get to 18 under. Oh, well read. Very good 3. Took the tee shot on and was rewarded with a birdie.
So with Jacques Lang not creating or converting real birdie chances over the last few holes, Wirachant moves 3 clear at -23. Time and holes running out for Monty, and a great last round effort by Aussie Adam Fraser, 6 under for 11 holes.
Now watch this for a nice rhythm, just in the left-hand semi. Second shot here to 13. A little bit unfortunate not to climb up that bank. It would have thrown it more towards the hole, but it's doing okay.
Colin Montgomerie has reached his 17th hole, his 71st hole of this tournament, and what a week he's having. Dropping Masters hints like lead balloons here. He's even wearing Masters green.
I'm not so sure anybody's ever made 10 birdies on the run.
No, 8 is the European Tour record. Raymond Russell at the Forest of Arden a few years ago. That's a mistake from Monty. John, you've been a birdie man in your time. You've had 7 in a row, I understand.
Yes, once in the Open qualifying in Scotland in '84 when Hickory was in.
The 12th. 7 holes left for Wirachant. Be still, my beating heart. Unorthodox to say the least. Off the heels, onto the toes. But is it holding up? Just getting a little tight towards the end, John, perhaps?
Yeah. Ball sat up though. And it shows that he's not the longest in the field using wood there. Many of the guys can get home with an iron. Now Jacqueline. Bit of a roller coaster putt up the hill. Should move left to right. Good stroke. Not to be. He remains at 20 under.
Final hole for Frankie Minosa. He won the Indonesian Open, as it was called, in 1986 and 1990. So a bag of experience in this part of the world. And a fine approach to the closing hole.
Now then, Colin. If he makes par here, it's going to feel like a bogey after his last 2 hours of golf, and he's going to struggle to make par. That's a poor chip from Colin, so his birdie run comes to an end.
And lots of work left just to save par at the 8th hole. His 17th.
Minosa. His 72nd hole's been a great week. Spends most of the time on the Japanese tour, and what a lovely way to finish. Well done.
Pair of 67s, a great 62 in round 3 and a 66 to finish. A nice week in the office for Frankie.
Wirachant just off a little upslope in the second cut of rough. Slid the club head under the ball very well. Beautifully executed. So should escape with a par on this tough par 3.
retaining his composure and his humility, bound for the crowd. Monty must make 18 feet for par. Oh, please. Incredible.
Nice putting.
Monty at 18 under par, and doesn't he know it? What a card.
He knows he's a chance of